Good evening. This is Rashad Mitchell coming to you live from my YouTube channel as I continue on my part series, The Week That Was College Football History Review, the 1985 college football season for week number 11. I believe this is week 11 for November the 9th. Week 11. Let's get into it. We're going to start with Wake Forest. They beat Duke 27-7. Then number 8, Miami, traveled to Baltimore, Maryland, where they beat the Maryland Terrapins 29-22. Oddly jittery, Miami had to endure frustrating turnovers that ended its opening 4 possessions. Ultimately, Terrapins were ready to crawl back into shells after blowing a 13-0 and 22-13 leads. With game knotted at 13-13 at halftime, Maryland scored 9 straight points on a 2-yard touchdown run by fullback Rick Bandenjek and safety after punt blunder by Miami punter Jeff Feagles. Meanwhile, wide receiver Brett Perryman brought Canes to within 22-20 on a 74-yard punt return for a touchdown. Then kicker Greg Cox kicked winning 20-yard field goal with 8:13 left to go in the game after having had his 19-yard field goal try blocked early in the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, halfback Melvin Bratton added his second scoring touchdown for final score as Miami tight end Willie Smith caught 8 passes for 140 yards as quarterback Vinny Testaverde passed for 298 yards, including 35 yards on a second quarter touchdown pass to wide receiver Michael Irvin, who caught 5 passes for 82 yards. Georgia beat Florida 24-3. Georgia's ranked number 17 in the country. Florida's ranked number 1 in the country, and they got beat 24-3 in Jacksonville. Florida was number 1 at the time they lost as number 1 team in the country at the time. The Bulldogs of Georgia put an end to Florida's unbeaten streak, knocking off rival for the 11th time in the last 14 contests. Gators quarterback Kerwin Bell, surprisingly, was unable to penetrate the Georgia end zone despite throwing for a school record 408 yards. One reason was Florida's meager 28-yard net rushing, throwing for school record. One reason was Florida's meager 28 yards net rushing because of 5 sacks of Bell. Bulldogs, meanwhile, rushed for 344 yards. Leading the way for Georgia was freshman fullback Keith Henderson, who dashed for 145 yards on 9 carries, with 2 touchdowns, including a 76-yard burst up the middle in the first half. Freshman tailback Tim Worley had 104 yards himself, 7 carries, raced 89 yards in the fourth quarter to close the scoring. Meanwhile, Georgia defensive end Greg Waters contributed 13 tackles and sack, whilst breaking up 2 passes. Fullback John L. Williams led Gators with 42 yards rushing and 12 catches for 103 yards, but lost fourth quarter fumble at Georgia 8-yard line. Florida was able to keep the first ever number 1 ranking for only 1 week. We were a total team today, said winning coach Vince Dooley. I don't know how you play any better. Everybody was superb. Next, we got Louisiana State, the number 15 team in the country, against Alabama, number 20 team in the country, and this game resulted in a 14-14 draw, a tie. With 124 left, Alabama coach Ray Perkins set for a tying extra point for kicker Van Tiffin. The Tigers, meanwhile, then raced downfield with quarterback Jeff Wickersham, hitting 4 passes for 55 yards to set up a 24-yard field goal attempt by kicker Ron Lewis, who promptly missed for 3rd time. Deadlock outcome overshadowed fine first start by Alabama freshman running back Gene Jelks, who ran for 95 yards and 14 carries, who ran for 33 yards on touchdown for 7-0 halftime lead. Displayed passing prowess in fourth quarter with 2-yard touchdown toss to quarterback Mike Schuler. One player earlier, Schuler converted a 4th and 19 but 29-yard pass to Albert Bell, wide receiver, in between Jelks scoring efforts. Other Schuler scored 2 third quarter touchdowns. 49-yard run by tailback Gary James. 67-yard catch by wide receiver Wendell Davis. Next, we got Iowa beating Illinois in a shutout, 59-0. Arkansas beating Baylor. Arkansas, number 12 team in the country, beat number 11 Baylor. 20 to 14. Excuse me, 20 to 14. Right there, the score of that game. Arkansas tight end Luther Franklin, the first career catch, surprised Bears with a 50-yard touchdown grab with 6:09 left in the game. It was only completion in 4 tries by quarterback Greg Thomas, coming on a 117 pass put into playbook for game. Baylor led entire way behind quarterbacks Tom Moonke and Cody Carlson, who combined for 311 yards passing, accounted for touchdown each for 14-0 lead. Moonke's touchdown was dramatic as he connected with wide receiver Matt Clark for 88-yard pass, longest ever to date against Arkansas Hawks, and admirably clamped down Baylor's veer, allowing 118 yards on the ground and forcing 5 turnovers, including 4 interceptions, 2 off each quarterback, while Razorbacks converted a pair of interceptions into touchdowns on trips of 29 yards and 25 yards to tighten game at 14-12 in the fourth quarter. The Falcons of Air Force, they won 45-7. UCLA beat Arizona 24-19. Number 14 team in the country beating Arizona 24-19. Wild contest went to UCLA as big special teams plays set up opening scores as bad punt snap by Arizona led to a 27-yard drive for Bruins' first touchdown. 7-yard run by tailback Gaston Green. Safety Chuck Cecil punt block did same for Wildcats who tied game on 2-yard run by tailback James DeBow. Back from injury, Green rushed for 3 touchdowns, including a score that followed by 2 plays his amazing recovery of downfield fumble by wide receiver Carl Durrell. Ball was loose near the 4 Arizona defenders, yet trailing Green came up with it on Arizona 4-yard line. The ensuing touchdown put Bruins up 24-7, but they almost blew it. Why? Because cornerback Dennis Price lost fumble after his interception in the fourth quarter. It gave Wildcats new life on Bruins' 24-yard line. DeBow, who recovered Price's fumble, ran for his second touchdown to pull the Cats within 24-13. Meanwhile, quarterback David Norrie committed next to Bruins boner. While extinguishing clock, he threw ball to avoid the sack and was picked off by defensive tackle Dana Wells, who rumbled 61 yards for a touchdown. UCLA defense finally calmed down Cats rally. Finally, you had California beating Southern California 14-6, unable to score a touchdown for third time in 1985. Southern California Trojans reached new low and fall into California, which is a Pac-10 cellar dweller. Golden Gophers freshman tailback Mark Hicks, who had 113 yards rushing on 22 carries, scored twice on a 26-yard pass play that featured nifty running and 16-yard run with botch handoff. Meanwhile, quarterback Kevin Brown lost ball in the play, hit by linebacker Marcus Cotton. Wow. Fumble was being picked up by Hicks, who raced to end zone. Triple threat Hicks also punted for the Bears and ran for 26 yards for first down after low punt snap in the first quarter. USC managed 2 field goals by kicker Don Schaefer, while rushing for 130 yards and passing for 136 yards against a defense that allowed 20 points or more in 9 previous games. Tailback Ryan Knight led Trojans with 62 yards rushing. So that concludes a look at College Football History Review, the 1985 college football season for Week 11. The games that played on November 9th, 1985. Let's look at the AP polls. November 11th, we had Alabama at number 20, LSU, Louisiana State at 19, 18 Tennessee, 17 Baylor, 16 Brigham Young, 15 Florida State, 14 Auburn, 13 UCLA, 12 Georgia, 11 Florida. Number 10 was Oklahoma State. Number 9, Arkansas, 8 Michigan, 7 Oklahoma. There was a tie for the 5th spot between Iowa and Miami. Number 4 Air Force. Number 3 Ohio State. Number 2 Nebraska. And number 1 Penn State. So it includes a look at College Football History Review, the 1985 college football season, the games that were played on November 9th, 1985 for Week 11. Please like, subscribe, comment on the channel, do reveal the Smack 2 on Thursday. Until then, talk to you soon.